Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's LT and I build custom and high performance pickup trucks, and in doing so, well, I need a lot of different tools. You get everything from your basic wrenches and sockets all the way up to some specialized stuff that does usually one or two specific tasks, things like TIG welders, torque wrenches, and grinders. But even if you don't work on vehicles at all, there is one tool that every vehicle owner and driver should have, and that is the Infocar OBD2 Smart Scanner. It's available from Amazon for about 35 bucks, and it pairs up with an app that you can download to your Android or your iOS device, and it'll unlock a ton of hidden information that's stored in your vehicle's computer. It connects to the OBD2 port underneath your dashboard, and it has a ton of features, and I think probably my favorite one that I've been playing with a lot lately is actually the fuel mileage feature. Now, I've got a big block 1999 Chevy Suburban. It's got a 7.4 liter engine in it, and it uses a lot of fuel, but the Infocar OBD2 app can actually help me save money by helping me improve my driving habits. It'll tell me what speed can I drive to get the best fuel mileage out of that big giant engine. It'll give you an instantaneous fuel mileage reading, stuff that's not available on an older vehicle. The Suburban, it has your basic gauges. It has, miles per hour, RPM, engine oil pressure, water temperature, and things like that. But there's a lot of information that's stored on your vehicle's computer that is not displayed on a gauge. You've got things like manifold pressure, ignition timing, throttle position, and the list goes on and on and on. Another cool feature about the fuel mileage thing is you can actually input the price of gas, whether it's a gallon or liter, in your specific area, and it'll track each individual trip so you can know how much did this trip cost me. Like if you're going to the grocery store, going to your friend's house, whatever, down to the penny, it'll say this trip costs like $4.27, which is kind of a cool feature. And then on top of that, it's a code reader. So let's say you have a problem with your car, maybe it's misfiring, maybe the engine's not running at all, and there's a code up on the dashboard. Well, the Smart Scanner will actually tell you what that code is. So before you drop your car off to a mechanic or have it towed off, you can kind of have a heads up in terms of what's going on with your vehicle, so you can anticipate what the problem is, and that way you know if the mechanic you're going to is going to tell you the truth because you already know what the code is. Now, you can even, of course, clear those codes once the repair has been made, especially if you're doing the repairs yourself. And it's a really simple product to use. So today I'm going to walk you through the steps of downloading the app, connecting it to your vehicle, and I'll just drive around and show you the Smart Scanner in action. So the first thing that you want to do is go to your app store and search for Infocar, and the app should look something like this. Once you've got it downloaded, the next thing you'll do is go out to your vehicle, open the door, and search for the OBD2 connector, which is usually underneath the dashboard within about 1.5 feet of the steering wheel. Then you've got to turn on your vehicle's ignition, open up the Infocar app, and click the Connections button. Then you just got to look for the one that says Infocar 180. And once the connection has been made, you're free to start looking at data from your vehicle. So everything is connected up. We've got the Infocar plugged into the OBD2 port, which is right underneath the dashboard. I have the app connected to the Infocar device. And then I went ahead and I actually just unplugged the mass airflow sensor in the intake tube just to show you how the diagnostic portion of this tool works. So basically, you're just going to come in here, click the diagnostic button, and then click read, and it'll scan the vehicle just to show you any trouble codes that are present. And as you can tell, it has a big warning sign up top, and then it has a P0102 for the mass airflow meter. And if you want to learn more about that, all you got to do is click search for more information, and it'll open up a Google search to tell you more about what the problem could be for your specific vehicle. Now, that's just one of the ways that you can use this tool. And like I said, once you actually make the repair, all I had to do was plug the mass airflow sensor back in. You can go ahead and clear the code and go for a drive to make sure that the repair was successful and no code was going to come back, which in my case, I know it's not going to because I just disconnected the sensor temporarily. So now let's fire this thing up. We'll go for a drive, and I'll show you just a few more features of this Infocar. And my favorite one, like I said, I'll show you the fuel mileage tracker, which really comes in handy when you're driving a big block. Gas prices are nearly $3.60 to $3.70 a gallon. So I have the Infocar app hooked up, my phone's connected and everything's running, and I just wanted to take you guys through some of the features and just explore what this app is about and look at some of the different things that you can actually see. Now, one of the features that I was interested in was like the gauge layout, because the water temperature gauge that's in my instrument cluster, I've kind of suspected that it doesn't read accurately. So by using an app like this, I can actually read what the sensor itself is reporting to the computer rather than just what the gauge might be reporting, because oftentimes a gauge on an older vehicle like this, it might not be accurate. So what I'll do, I'll pull up the app here, I'll go into the, let's see, dashboard right here, and there's a whole bunch of different gauges that pop up, and coolant temperature is one that's right here. And according to the Infocar, we're running right now at 179.6 degrees, which is actually a little bit warmer than what my gauge reads. Now, I was kind of worried that the gauge read low because it seemed like it would never go over that mark right around like 160 or 170. So this actually lets me know what the vehicle is actually doing. And this is the information that you need to know. Is your vehicle overheating? Is it not? You know, what's your throttle position? So the gauge display is very helpful, and you kind of swipe through here. We've got intake temperature, throttle position, intake pressure, we've got distance, driving time, average speed, just a whole lot of information about each individual trip, even how many gallons of fuel per hour we're burning. You can kind of swipe over to the right a little bit and it gives you a little bit different display with some more information on it. So the next thing I wanted to show you guys was the fuel mileage tracker, or the fuel mileage feature of the Infocar app, because I think that's the coolest, especially on an older vehicle like this. It's got a big giant engine in it, and I know it's not going to do amazing on fuel mileage, but this app is actually going to let me keep track of, down to the penny, how much my trip is going to cost. So you just click on the button that says fuel from the main screen, and it'll show you in real time your instant fuel mileage. Now, I'm on a hilly road that's going up and down, so of course this is going to vary. It shows you instantaneous as well as average fuel mileage for this trip. Now, so far, you can see down here on the bottom left, I've used 0.4 gallons of fuel on this trip. And right now, the instant fuel mileage, or gallons per hour, it shows you that. And it shows your average fuel mileage over this individual trip, and even the fuel cost right in the middle. I think that's the important one to keep track of. So far on this trip, I've used $1.32 of fuel to make this video so far. And that's just kind of a cool thing, because if you're running errands, or maybe if you use your vehicle for work, like you have to put mileage on it, this app is a great way to keep track of exactly how far that you've gone and how much fuel that you've used. So another really cool, helpful feature of the Infocar app is the heads-up display section. Like, let's say your speedometer's not working, this will actually tell you, exactly how fast you're going. So that's definitely helpful to avoid, speeding tickets and things like that. And then let's see what else we've got here. We've got a maintenance manager that'll kind of keep track of when you do your oil changes and stuff. Consumables management, what do we got here? Driving style. So if you come down here to the driving style section, it gives you a score, from 0 to 100 based on how safely and how economically you drive. 0 is awful and 100 is great. So if I come over here to the eco section, let's see, I've got a 60 already, because this is a pretty inefficient vehicle, but it also takes into account things like how long you're idling. But let's see, if I just kind of floor it right here, my score should go down a little bit because we've got rapid acceleration. So it definitely didn't like that, but it just lets you know how safe that you're driving. See what that did to our fuel mileage. Yeah, so far for this trip, we're averaging 13.2 miles to the gallon, which I guess is kind of where I would expect to be with a 7.4 liter engine. Not amazing, but at least this will kind of help me keep track of how I'm driving so I can save a little bit of money, because at the end of the day, that's one thing that the Infocar app is going to do, is to save you money. So we've got one last tab to play with here. We have the monitoring section on the top left. And it looks like that'll just cover, well, it looks like just about every sensor or every parameter that your engine is going to be reading. We've got intake air temperature. That's kind of hot because it's pretty warm out today. Engine coolant temp right at 180, so the truck's running great. Manifold pressure, long-term fuel trims. It looks like we're running, plus or minus, it looks like about -4, -2. That's great there. Got your mass airflow sensor, more fuel trims. We can swipe over for even more information. We've got graphs. Basically, the Infocar, yeah, it'll tell you everything you want to know and more about how your truck is running. So 2 more features which are really cool about this app. One of them uses the accelerometer that's based in your phone, and it just tracks, rapid acceleration and turning, things like that. It'll just give you an alert to, help you pay attention and help you drive safely. And then the second thing is it'll actually have a driving log which tracks where the vehicle has been, where the turns were, if there was any rapid acceleration. And once again, it's just about helping you keep track of your driving habits, which ultimately is going to save you fuel, make sure you're a safer driver. So those are just a few of the ways that you can use the Infocar OBD2 Smart Scanner, and it's a great addition for any vehicle owner's toolbox. Whether or not you actually work on your own cars, you need to have one of these smart scanners at your disposal because it'll help you save money. That's kind of what it's all about. I mean, if you have a check engine light and you're scared of maybe a mechanic shop is going to rip you off, this will arm you with a little bit of information beforehand. It'll tell you about your driving habits. It'll tell you about your fuel mileage. I mean, the 2 things that I learned the most about this Suburban right here in particular, number 1, my fuel mileage is not great. I've actually never measured it, but this tells me exactly how much fuel it's going to burn. And number 2, it's told me that my temperature gauge on the instrument cluster isn't reading accurately, so I might have to take the cluster apart and make some adjustments there. But this is all good, solid information to have, and the Infocar OBD2 Smart Scanner, it unlocks it, and the information is already there on your vehicle's computer. So head on over to Amazon. There's a link down in the description below so you can check one out. Download the app. It works for Android and iOS devices. Like I said, it's a great addition for any vehicle owner's toolbox. So thank you guys for watching. That's going to bring this video to an end. Help me out. Click the like button, click the subscribe button. Those 2 things help the channel grow. And thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you next time.